Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Friday, the 8th of November. All right, as we teeter into the start of the Asian session, now we're starting to get some good uniformity across the major pairs. Just looking at the major pair overview, most of all the US dollar pairs are all going up at this stage in varying degrees of strength. And on the downside, everything except for the Aussie, the odd one out, is starting to drift lower. Now, if I just give you a look at the charts, you'll start to get a bit of a clearer picture here of what I'm talking about. You can see here well, let's get the pen on. The Aussie just sort of drifting sideways here, whereas the Kiwi sort of looks like it's topped out a bit, but really no clear shape of resistance just yet. And it's just sort of starting to trade sideways through that previous support line. Euro topped out again up above 111.50 and now sort of drifting lower. Short-term resistance here around 110.85, and same for sterling. So those pairs working in unison. Dollar CAD really back in the range like the Aussie, and we have seen with that China-US potential trade deal coming through, the safe haven trade sort of really being unwound, and that dollar yen is cruising to the top side. So that's what we've got across the board here. We've got some levels to work with. To me, the pairs to really be focusing on, you're starting to get into the strength levels where you've got a couple of technical levels working with you. And if you just scroll down on the MyFX Trading Hub page, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, where it's a bit further explained. Dollar yen going up on the dailies and hourlies. So that looks pretty good to me. It should just keep going higher. Euro I'm even more confident with Euro because it's central bank sentiment is down, and also the daily and hourly charts going down. So it's got a lot more going for it, the Euro. This Aussie one is a little bit peculiar. There's some weird things happening. The Australian economic data is starting to turn around, and a potential US-China trade deal is good for the Aussie. So we have to keep an eye on that. So there's something amiss here between the Aussie and Kiwi. They are usually like 98% of the time work together. They are, funnily enough, at the moment, a little bit opposed. So there's going to be a correction in the Aussie or the Kiwi pretty shortly. Overall, to me, the Euro is the best pair to be trading. I feel a lot more comfortable. As I said, the ECB sentiment is down, and it's moving down on a couple of time frames, whereas the dollar yen, it's all about geopolitical stuff, and it's hard to sort of gauge whether that continues or not. And it's a little bit of a harder trade. And that's where we are, guys. Almost the end of the week. Now, looking at the major economic data coming out, we've got the Chinese trade balance. Now, the trade balance figures are generally, it's just like a report card of where currency is and how everything's going. Now, it doesn't have a huge amount of economic consequence, but for China, it's massive because they are a massive trading company. As I say company, but country. So any major variance in the trade balance for them can spell signs of weakness in the economy or strength. So keep an eye on that. It's going to be important for the Aussie, Kiwi, and the Yuan. And of course, the employment numbers for dollar CAD, it's in the range. We've got some levels to work with, so it's a pretty good opportunity. And last but not least, probably a little bit less impacting, the University of Michigan consumer sentiment numbers there. So really a little bit of action in the Asian session, and then it's all over to the North American session to close the week out. All right, and that's pretty much where we've closed things. If you want to get a bit of a handle on preparation for next week, what you want to do is click on the calendar. You can actually come through and have a look. We've got a huge week of economic data coming out. Most importantly to me, well, any CPI numbers are important. The UK probably superseded by Brexit, but the US CPI numbers are going to be a wham-bam number. Employment numbers for the Aussie, the main focus for the RBA, and you've also got Fed Chairman Powell testifying as well. So there's plenty of potential opportunity. Really, Wednesday onwards is looking really good. And don't forget, coming up to start next week, we've got a Canadian and US holiday. So you expect markets on Monday across all time zones to be pretty quiet. All right, guys. Anyway, that's the end of the week for me. And hopefully having a good trade day. All the very best. Cheerio.